welcome to another episode of Going Uptown, right here live on BNN TV. And this is your host, Uptown Tyree Brown. And I am very excited for today's show. And besides, today is my 1-year anniversary on being here on BNN. I am so excited for today's show. Joining me today is author of Trajectory, A Journey to Transformation, 1 Week Dimensional. Danielle K. Grant will be joining me in the first segment. And in the second segment, Valerie Stephens will be joining me. And we're going to talk about her career, and we're going to hear her poem, Phenomenal Woman. But right now, I am here with author Danielle Grant. Welcome to Going Uptown.
Thank you. It's a delight to be here.
So Danielle, may you tell my audience a little something about yourself?
About myself. I'm Danielle K. Grant. I'm an author, recent author. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful children. I am married. I teach in the Boston Public Schools. And I'm just on a journey myself, and just want to let everyone be aware of that. So yes.
So what type of journey are you on?
So I'm on a journey of just becoming who God has intended me to be. And it's been a joyous ride thus far. And it has its ups and downs for sure, because no journey happens overnight, but it's been wonderful.
And you have a special way about talking about your journeys, and it's called devotions, correct?
Yes.
And can you please tell my audience a little something about devotions?
About devotions. So I believe devotion is it's like meeting someone that you really, really love. And in this case, it's meeting with God. And it's twofold. Sometimes you go to Him, and I love when He beckons you to come. And when you have devotion, it's really about just unburdening yourself, becoming vulnerable to Him, and He becomes vulnerable to you because it's twofold. And so that's why I love devotionals, because it's a two-way journey. You with Him and He with you.
And how do you do devotions? Is there a process of doing it? Do you write devotions? Do you read the Bible first, or how does that become about?
How does it come about? It's a great question. For many people, it's different. But for me, when I'm doing devotion, I love to get my journal, my pen. Pen is very, very important because you got to write the vision down. I have my Bible, and I have a content that I'm reading, and so I set a time, because I believe that you have to set a time to have devotion. When you're meeting with someone that you love, you have to set a time. So you're erasing all the noise as much as possible. And so I have these tools with me, and then I'm praying as well, because the prayer is a communication piece. And so I'm hearing back from Him, and He's hearing from me. That's how I do my devotion.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I know there's when people are doing devotions, there's several types of ways that people do devotions. I know some people would like to do it early in the morning when they first wake up. Some people would like to do their devotion on the way to work while they're traveling.
Yes.
Some people like to do it midday, during their lunch break, and say, I need to pick me up. And then some people do it at nighttime. Yes. And some people do it all the time. And which one are you? You do it all the time, or why is that?
So this is how I want to distinguish prayer and devotion, because you can pray anytime and anywhere. But a devotion is something that you schedule, you set time apart for. So I do both. But the most meaningful one for me is devotion, because it's a sacred time that I'm setting apart. Not to say that prayer isn't sacred. You can do that at any time and at any place. But when I really want to get into the presence, I attribute devotion as a transportation into the presence of God. And you can pray without having devotion, but you cannot have devotion without praying.
Correct.
And so that's how I do it. I do both, but I particularly love devotion because I get to pray as well, and I'm getting to meet with my friend. I call him my friend.
And now, is that a one time a day thing, or is this a one time a day?
No, so for me, it has changed because having children changed my morning routine, and so I do it a lot at nights when everything is shut down, everything is calm. I know a lot of people like to do it in the mornings, and they'll beat themselves up if they don't do it in the mornings. I move away from that because once again, if you're meeting with someone that you love, you don't want to rush into it. And so I find that in the mornings I'm rushing. So I will pray, but I schedule the devotion for at night when it's calm and serene. Okay. So I don't beat myself up anymore if I don't get it in the morning. But I know in that day it's gonna get done.
See me, I'm a single man, so I do it in the morning, to get my day started off on the right foot. I'm more of the early bird.
You do what is best for you.
Yep.
You certainly do what's best for you.
I'm more of the early bird.
Yes.
So how do you come up with a devotion?
How do you come up with it? So for me, it's, say I want to learn more about love. For example, I want to more about love. But in this case, you're talking about a journey to transformation. You want to be what God wants you to be. And so you're taking your skills and your talents into play. And so here I am thinking about, what am I good at? What am I not so good at? What's holding me back? And so I begin to form my devotion based on things like that. I'm getting scriptures that align, that talks about gifts and talents and dreams and visions. I'm looking at characters in the scriptures that exemplify what I'm going through, and then I begin to piece things together. And then I'm praying and I'm asking God to really, own in on my life and to show me what applies, what doesn't apply, what's holding me hostage, what do I need to do? And so in this case, that's how I kind of, especially with this devotion, how I begin to piece it together. And here we are with this package.
Okay. Yes. And during our recent conversation, we had a conversation before.
Yes.
We're going to talk more about
wonderful
it later on.
Conversation.
Wonderful conversation. Yes. You said what led you into writing your book was a Facebook post.
Yes.
Now, how did you decide to put your devotion out there on Facebook?
Facebook, yeah. So even though I go to church at Pentecostals of Boston and I stand before people all the time, but when I got this nudge to do this Facebook Live, I've never done Facebook Live before. I've seen people do it, but I've never done it before. I got this nudge to do it, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna follow that little nudge, and so I put a post out, said, who wants to do devotion with me? And I got the responses back. And so as a result of that, I said, all right, here we go. Click the live, had my notes in front of me, and we went live. And as a result of that, I got so many feedbacks. I even got friends that I haven't spoken to since high school that were in Europe, those in Canada and across the world, in Jamaica. And they were like, oh my goodness, this is like the best thing. And so that's how we got started with the Facebook Live devotion. Yes.
Well, we got a surprise from our audience. We are going to see
a
little piece of that devotion, your very first devotion that led you to this book.
Yes, awesome.
You say to yourself, that's who I am, because you've done it for so long. It becomes a part of your nature that you start to accept misbehavior, dysfunction as who you are, and then you start to act accordingly. And it is a lie to the point where you think that it's normal. And it's not normal to accept misbehavior as who you are. And so the poor attitude and the poor mindset, it's not who we are, and over time we have accommodated misbehavior, and it's dysfunctional. And so I had to quit making excuses for my selfish tendencies, for pride, and living a lie when deep down inside of me I wanted to be more than that. The matters of my heart were in conflict with knowing the truth but denying it. So I knew deep down inside that I didn't want to be this person. I didn't want to be selfish. I didn't want to be unkind. I didn't want to walk around being angry and blaming my past, blaming my upbringing, blaming someone who took my fishes when I was younger, around 14, who took my fishes and cooked it, didn't save me any, and gave it to her boyfriend. And I held on to that. And I said to myself, no one's ever going to take anything from me again. And so that behavior seeped into my spirit. And so when I said, no one's ever going to take anything from me again, what happens that I began to accommodate selfishness. It's who I am. I started to own it. But over time, I realized that I cannot become who God really wants me to be if I'm going to be selfish, if I'm going to be unkind, if I'm ever going to become anything great. I would have to let go and quit making excuses for it. And so you have to stop accepting the lie that you tell yourself and stop blaming your upbringing and stop allowing what you didn't have to define who you are. I wasn't raised right. I didn't have enough money. I wasn't loved. I was neglected. I was abused. And those things really affect us. But there has to become a point where you can't let it define you. And so I had to stop doing that. I had to really begin to really give my dysfunction to God. And another thing is that
Now, that was Danielle K. Grant with her first Facebook devotional. Now, if you want to see the rest of this Facebook devotional, how may they be able to watch it?
So you can go onto That's All Devotional on Facebook, yes.
Yes. Now, this was your first day.
Yes.
Now, why was the reason that you did this devotion again?
Again, I just got this beckoning call to go live. Like I said previously, like I speak in my church, so I know that audience. Then going on Facebook Live was like a bigger audience, and sometimes social media can not be so friendly. Mm-hmm. And so I just took a leap of faith and went on to do that.
So that motivated you to write this book.
Yes, it did.
The Trajectory, A Journey to Transformation for 1 week devotional.
Yes.
Now, first of all, what is trajectory for those who do not know what trajectory is?
So, the trajectory is defined as an object moving under action or given force. And so sometimes you have to be pushed into it. If you really, there's a saying that says, if you want good, your nose has to run. So sometimes you have to be pushed into change.
Okay.
Yes, it's a trajectory.
So can you tell my audience a little something about this book?
So again, this started off with me and about wanting to grow, wanting to really become who God wants me to be, and it seemed as though I was getting to different places, but there was always more. There was always a longing for more, and I was wondering what was a setback, what was holding me back from attaining it. And then I went on this journey and I began to pray and began to ask God, what is this? I know there's more. What is holding me back from achieving it? And so as a result of that, I discovered the setback was selfishness. Mm-hmm. And it started when I was 14 years old, that someone who was supposed to love and care for me, really inflicted a harm. And I said to myself then, no one is ever going to take anything from me again. And so that transferred all the way to my adult life. And then, my husband, when certain people, when certain people say certain things to you, it's kind of like water off your back. But then when somebody that you truly love and appreciate says something to you, and he wasn't saying it in a way to tear me down, mm-hmm. or anything like that. It was more like a highlight, like this is something that you need to pay attention to. And so when he said to me that, you have this tendency, I began to take note, and he sent me on this journey. And as a result of that, it just catapulted into something greater, that I began to shed it. And it didn't happen overnight. Obviously, it was a journey. Begin to shed. I had to face the dysfunction in my life. And a lot of people, don't want to face it. They want to own it and normalize it. And I had refused any longer to normalize a dysfunction that was holding me back, because I really wanted to go further. And so when I went on there, then he began to reveal other things to me. And I shared that not to make excuses for your dysfunction, not to resist opposition. You're going to need a friend on the journey. These little things my eyes begin to open up. And so that's a thing with anyone who wants to make progress. You cannot normalize the dysfunction. You cannot normalize the anger. You cannot normalize the pain. Yes, it hurts. But guess what? You're going to have to give it over. You have to become vulnerable and give it over, and give God access. And trust me, he will just begin to turn you from a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly.
Okay. Yes. So this is a 7-day journey.
Yes, and a bonus feature. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what happens, you don't have to explain everything all to the, but pretty much what is it like day to day?
So day to day, I've already been getting feedbacks from individuals that I asked them to be totally honest with me. And even on Wednesday night, one said to me, she's like, whoa, it's already seeping in. And she talked about wasn't necessarily ready to face certain things, but it was so happy to be able to do so. And she's also on her journey. And I've just been getting phenomenal feedbacks about the realness of it, and it's unlike anything that they have read so far in a devotional context. So it's been doing wonderful.
Okay, so day one,
yes,
you have to recognize the problem, right?
Recognize the problem.
And then what will happen on day two?
So on day two, so as you're beginning, I could take this down. So as you're beginning to quit making excuses for the dysfunction, then you're talking about taking the limits off, right? Taking the limits off of what God can do in your life. And then we're talking about if you don't want to make those necessary changes, then guess what? You could stay in that cocoon if you want to.
Correct.
Rather than emerging. So it's a choice that you make. And then, to keep the change. So as you're progressing into this new normal that's supposed to be your life, then you got to keep it. Hold on to everything, because you're going to need to refer back to it, because guess what? There's going to come a day when opposition is going to come. But you want to keep the change that you've been making, all the progresses that you've been making, so you can look back at it and say, you know what, opposition? Thank you for coming. You're the fuel that I need to catapult me further, rather than dismiss it and resent it. So these are some of the things. And then I talked about, I give you Jesus, because there is nothing that you will ever do in this life without him. And then I gave you the bonus, the bonus, talk about your thoughts, speech, and action, that if you're going to continue on this journey, that the trajectory of your mind has to change, the trajectory of your speech has to change, because how you think and how you speak is going to direct your feet, is going to tell you where to go. So it starts from here. It's a mental change. Your speech has to change, and then your feet will lead you to the places that you need to go.
And you got to get rid of that stinking thinking.
That stinking thinking. You have to. It's mandatory.
Now, if anybody's interested in getting this book, how may they get the book?
So it's on Amazon via ebooks, and it's on Barnes & Noble ebooks as well, or Kindle format they call it. And then I have hard copies as well. And then we're working on some deals to get it on bookshelf stores. So it's there. So I'm also on Instagram under DKNY3228. You can link me there, or on Facebook, my first and last name, Danielle Grant, and definitely get you a copy. Yes.
And then, we was talking, and you said after reading this book, it was definitely start some conversations amongst people.
Definitely.
Can you give me an example of one conversation before we go to our next page.
Okay, great. So one of the things that I wrote in here when I talked about friendship, because a lot of people think they have friends, and sometimes you're going through your phones, you're wondering who to call. But I kind of turn it around, and I ask, who calls you a friend? But that's very, because you can call people friend, but they don't see you the same way. So that's another conversation started with some of the people who have been read so far in the book, is who calls me a friend? And then the other one I ask, I throw it out there with the content that I gave about two individuals in the scripture, David and Jonathan. Then, if you know your friend was supposed to be something, and you also want to be that something, would you give up your position so that your friend could sit in that seat? And that's something that a lot of people are really thinking about. So in the case with David and Jonathan was supposed to be the successor of his father to become king. But there goes, David was anointed king. So who gets the throne?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And then, you know what, Danielle? I'm so glad that you came on my show this afternoon.
It's my delight, yes.
And my audience out there, if you want to hear more about this story and more about devotionals and a lot of stuff, me and Danielle had a show coming up this Monday at 8 p.m. on 102.9 FM, Going Uptown with Uptown Brown. And we will get deeper into her book and about devotions and trajectory.
Yes.
So tune in Monday night at 8 p.m. on 102.9 FM, Boston's community radio station. We are going to take a break, and we are got a clip from the Oscar Michaud Family Theater Program Company.
No papers, so we don't want them to cheat us. Okay.
O-W-E-R. Power. Hi, Miss Evelyn.
Hi, Rudy. How you doing today? I wasn't busy getting ready for Madam Walker's party. Power. We need power. So I don't have much time for talking today.
I know about Madam Walker. She's a millionaire. But what's power, Miss Evelyn?
Power is something that our people don't realize that we have. Power comes when we work together and to make our lives better. But you got to work together.
You know, my mama tells me to study hard and use my talent so I can be famous.
Listen to your mother. That Madam Walker lady, I heard she had plenty of money. And how she got her money? She had a whole lot of talent and a businesswoman. But she's coming back here to let folks know how poor she was, and I mean poor. But she used her talent and made her life better. Not only was she rich, but she had power. And she used to help other people to make their lives better. Now that's all the time I gotta tell you. Can you go and come back tomorrow, okay?
Just one more question, Miss Evelyn. What's talent?
Now, Miss Darling, don't you stop working to listen to this. We got to get this place ready, so keep moving. Tell us something that God will bless each and every one of us. Something that you can do good, sometimes better than others. Never give up on your talent under no circumstance. It is a gift from God.
Is dancing a talent?
Is dancing a talent? Is dancing a talent? Well, yes, it is. Moody, listen. Don't you hear that? Why don't you show them something?
Hey. 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 Ooh. Ooh. Challenge.
See, Miss Evelyn? I plans to keep on doing what my mama tells me to do and get famous and get me some power too. And can I come back to the party?
Yeah. I ain't too sure about a walker with no children at her party now.
Just tell her I got talent, Miss Evelyn, and I want to learn about power and share it with my friends. Did you say we need power? Well, please tell her.
Miss Darling, no wonder I've been working so hard around here cleaning this place. Cause you ain't been working. You've been out there dancing with Rudy when I'm gone.
No, I've been working. And Rudy is the one. He's been dancing because he is a dancer. And I couldn't help learn little steps myself. Want to see something?
Oh, please, Miss Darling, no more. Now, Rudy, if you want to come back, that was real good. If you want to come back, I'll ask Madam Walker, let you stretch your stuff. Now, will you please go home? Because me and Miss Darling can get this place ready.
Thanks. I'll be back, Miss Evelyn. Thanks, Miss Darling.
You're welcome down.
Bye.
Well, Miss Evelyn.
Now, Steve, I ain't up for no footage today. I'm busy trying to pay my rent.
I can help you with that. What's your lucky number going to be today?
4-1.
Last Sunday, we had a big show in Worcester, and I just want to give a big kudos to all the cast that performed. We have young Jarrell O'Bannon, and he stepped up to the stage. He did a real good job, and he came through. The whole audience loved him. And, you know, we had our doubts at first, but he rose to the occasion. And then Miss O'Bannon and Minister Deborah Mosley, myself, I played Steve Lucky. I didn't get a chance to really play my numbers the way I wanted to because nobody played the numbers. I was trying to make money. And that was Unique Williams right there who just sang the song, and she played Ethel Waters. And this is Crystal Dodson, and she played Zora Neale Hurston, and she did a fantastic job. She written her own poetry for the production, and she did a great job playing Zora. And we had our own, very own emancipator being in Leo Edwards. He played the homeless man, and believe me, he had everybody on their feet, educating them about our history. And if we don't know our history, we will be a mystery. And I want to give a big kudos to our director, Sister Monica Anderson Spencer. She played Sarah Breedlove and Madam C.J. Walker. Besides directing, she did a phenomenal job performing those two. Well, it's the same person, but she did a phenomenal job. And I want to give a big up to my stage crew, Stanley Thompson, he's my cousin, and Jimmy. They did an excellent job making us focus and making our sets look good. And that was it. But now, I am here with Valerie Stephens. She is such a phenomenal woman, as she is an award-winning performing artist, and she has a passion for history, too. Mm-hmm. She's an educator, and she does it all. She is a storyteller, too, and that's how I first met you, because you was doing a storytelling class for the elders.
Right.
My grandma was a part of.
Yes, I created a program, the Elder Storytelling Project.
Correct.
And got funding to teach elders to tell life lessons from their life as tellers, perform their own stories in the way they want to. Correct. So it went well. My students were 65 to 85.
Wow. And you're doing a lot in the community, and that's why yesterday you had a very special honor.
Yes. I mean, I've been a full-time performer now for 35 years. In fact, this month is the 50th anniversary of the first time I stepped on stage.
Wow.
Yeah. So I received a fellowship, a Brother Thomas Fellowship, mm-hmm. which is a gift to artists who have been selected for the work, their body of work. And it's wonderful. We get $15,000 each.
Oh, you work hard.
I sure do.
You work hard, and that's one thing I know.
I sure do.
After meeting you throughout that the storytelling class with my grandma, I really followed your steps, and you've been working hard. You not only perform pretty much every Sunday at Davos with the brunch.
Yeah, a couple of days a month, yes.
Yes.
I'll be there on the 13th of October, yes.
And you also do a very special thing for our young ladies here in Boston, the Princess Day.
I created that for my nieces. It's now 6 years old.
6 years.
The full title is Princess Day, Celebrating Little Girls of Color. And it took off. I didn't expect it to take off. It was a princess party, as I said, for my grandnieces. And the first time we had about 25, 30 little girls who came. And now we have 350 people who come from throughout New England, yeah. And it's all free. And we do fundraising for it. So that's a gift.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you just really, really are a phenomenal woman.
Thank you.
And you said you stepped on stage for the first time over,
Yeah,
I don't want to say the years. But
I know.
How was it like when you first stepped on stage?
Well, it's interesting, and I'm celebrating that time now because the first time I stepped on stage, I was in college.
Wow.
So it was the first semester of my freshman year. It was the beginning of the Black Studies department at UMass Amherst. And I had met some people who had been performers, and we became friends, and so they signed up to take a class called Introduction to Black Drama.
Okay.
And I signed up for it as well, and the professor said we're going to do a play in a month, which would have meant it October. I signed up to do props. And the professor came to me and said, I want you to do this monologue. And she would not allow me to say no. And in essence, this changed my life. I never saw myself as a performer. In fact, I just went through my high school reunion. Those were always interesting. And the women said, you were so shy. And yeah, I was very shy. And I still am shy at times. I say my passion for art is stronger than my shyness. And so in the years that I've been a performer, I've realized the power of art to transform people, as you've seen with the elders. They step on stage. So that has been the core of what I want to do, and I firmly believe in Nina Simone's quote, it is an artist's duty to reflect the times. And so especially in the last 15, 20 years, my work has been that. I've always been a history fanatic, loved history. And so the work that I do is around that. In fact, when I got the Brother Thomas Fellowship, what I did is I submitted a play that I wanted to rewrite. I created a one-woman play called The Mammy Diaries. And it is about the stereotypic icon, Mammy.
Okay.
But it's also about those women. I call them the sisterhood now. Those women who raised this country. And you never know their names. And because of the stereotypic icon, it is negative to think about these women. In fact, I heard a hip-hop artist, I don't know if you know who Lizzo is.
Lizzo, no.
Okay, fine. Some of the folks here will know who Lizzo is. She's a hip-hop performer, and she's brilliant in what she does. And somebody called her a millennial mammy. And it threw me back because there was still that negative connotation for these women that we don't know their names, and they did raise this country. And so, I can go, I'm a storyteller, so you don't have to tell me, I'll talk forever.
Because the perception that we have, or many people have of a mammy is like, what's that? The Butterworth lady, the mammy, like with the...
Well, Butterworth, Butterworth, but the Butterworth caricature was actually developed after Aunt Jemima.
Yes, Aunt Jemima.
And there's a whole history about Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
But those characters are part of the Southern heritage, and folks don't talk about that. I think most folks, when they talk about Mammy, they connect it with Mammy, who's the character in Gone with the Wind.
Okay.
played by Hattie McDaniels.
She did a great job in that,
She
too.
got an Oscar for
yes,
it.
wonderful.
And the mammies that were put in early films that were films that were made by white actors. And a lot of them, Birth of a Nation had Mammy in it, and I think it was one of the first ones with film. And they were
And that's
played.
why Oscar Michaud had to make films to make us see us in a better light, because
Yeah, the mammies have never been seen in better life. So, yeah, the stereotypic icon has followed us. In fact, when I was a little girl, one of the worst insults you could get, and I have gotten it when I was little, was, you're a mammy. And I sort of wanted to explore that. So my Mammy Diaries, the one-woman show, and what I'm going to do with part of the fellowship is to study and rewrite that from a one-person play into a three-person play.
Okay.
I'm going to research the women who were mammies, and I want to actually put real people's names in it.
wow.
The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going down to North Carolina and work with my original theater teacher, Dr. Esther Terry. She's been asking me to come and visit her. We're still in contact.
That's beautiful.
You know, as the time went, in her time in Amherst, she was one of the chair people of the Black Studies Department. She was assistant provost at UMass Amherst. She was also the interim president of Bennett College in the South. So, yeah, this is where I'm going back to, full circle.
Full circle. And after the discussion last night, too, that means you may do a one-woman show on your life.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I've been asked to do a piece about myself, write a book, you know, and so I've been looking at it, and I decided what I'm going to do is name it, I Am Not Your Preconceived Notion. What I've found is that a woman reaches a certain age and there's almost a template that folks feel that they should be. And I don't fit into the template at all. I study hip hop, you know, that's why I know Lizzo, and some other amazing artists. And it's a bit of battle, you know, that I have started to fight after a certain age, because I've had folks say, oh, at your age you needed to sit down on the porch and read a book. And what are you talking about? I mean, I have other stories, but I can't tell you my responses to some of these battles. And so, yeah, I'm going to start doing that.
Well, you're a woman full of life. I can't say why anybody could come up to you and say that, because
there's a preconceived notion when you have a particular number that you are supposed to be working. And I see that people buy into it. And it tends to apply more to women than men. We're judged. We're supposed to be a particular way. It was interesting. When I went to my high school reunion, I saw it. You know, it is a battle. But I'm doing what I do. I have my Nina Simone concert going on.
let's talk about that. Nina,
Okay.
So you, because every time, you know, I mean, most of the times I saw you perform, you sing Nina Simone songs.
Right.
And can you tell my audience a little something about Nina Simone?
Oh, okay. Well, Nina Simone, there's so much about Nina Simone. All right. Nina Simone was an amazing musician. She started out to study classical music, and she reached a point, and she could not get into the college that she wanted to. In a way to make music, she started singing jazz and playing jazz. She became very political because she was a part of a time in New York where there was a lot of politics going on, and she became very close with Lorraine Hansberry. Lorraine Hansberry was a playwright who created, Raisin in the Sun.
Yes.
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 And they became friends, and Lorraine taught Nina, or introduced her to the political aspects of what was going on among artists and black artists in New York. The songs that Nina wrote, Young, Gifted, and Black.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, Young, Gifted, and Black.
Young, gifted.
All right, go on and jump in. For Women, Mississippi Goddamn. She was completely committed to to changing lives of black people in this country.
Yes, she was.
And in some ways, she was chased out of the country. She's actually buried in France.
France, yeah.
Yeah. She left here. She went, where did she go? She went to Liberia, and she ended up not coming back. Highly political in the work she did, but her body of work is some of the most sampled work in the hip-hop world. I think the most sampled artist is James Brown, and after him it's Nina Simone. And yet I saw her, again, my freshman year in college changed my life. They brought her to UMass Amherst my freshman year. They gave her an honorary doctorate, and she performed. And I saw her later on. I saw her in the 80s. A brilliant, brilliant, troubled woman. She had health issues, and nobody talked about those. Bipolar, but a brilliant, committed artist. And so I've been sort of specializing in her music for the last 13 years. And I have a concert on the 11th, in a week. Today's Friday.
Yep.
In a week, and it is at the Amazing Arts Gallery in Framingham.
160 Hollis Street.
Yep. And with me, I'm bringing in other vocalists. I have Ema Arrington. I have Simply Whitney. And we've done it before. I am bringing in Sarah Soulflower Wright, who is a hip-hop artist. And among my musicians are Zaida Puller, who will be playing percussion, who also sings. Danielle Day on bass, Matt Williams on drums, and Yukihiro Kanasaka on keyboard.
Okay.
So we're doing a hip hop and just reflecting the times, using original material and doing Nina Simone's material.
Wow, we definitely got to hear more about this, but we are going to take a break, and we're going to hear more about this concert when we come back.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm here with Valerie Stephens, and we are talking about Nina Simone Scream Her Name performance that will be happening next week, October 11th at, what time does it start?
8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock on 160 Hollis Street in Framingham. Right. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about this upcoming performance?
Well, I've done a number of Nina Simone's performances around Nina Simone as tribute to Nina Simone, and most recently, I've done hers. I've done 4 Women, which I had 3 other vocalists come in, and we sang her songs in our styles, and then I did Nina Simone in hip hop, and I had a wonderful, wonderful slam poet, Art Collins, with me. I like fusion. And I think that Nina Simone's message, the beauty and the beast of it is that it's wonderful, passionate work. The beast is that it's still relevant. Yes. Mississippi Goddamn is still relevant. And I'm going to be doing Sinner Man, and I'm going to put the number 45 in it. So, instead of Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? 45, where you gonna run to? 45, where you gonna run to? I think it fits.
It does. Definitely do.
So, it's wonderful to work with a group of artists who also believe in the power, the transformative power of art. But I just think that we need to know Nina Simone. And if we're talking about history, and as I said, a person came up to me and asked me if Nina Simone was white. This was a person who was teaching at a college around here. Wow. African-American woman asked me, is Nina Simone white? And, at this stage in my life, I'm always ready for things, and I'm in awe of some of the things that I hear people say, so I was, no. But to this person's credit, she did come to the concert, and she learned about it. So there's a number of ways to teach history.
Yes.
For me, it is through art.
Yes, and then another thing that you do through art that teaches us our history is definitely Phenomenal Woman.
Yes, Yes.
And I would definitely love for you to share that poem with my audience in our closing.
That is interesting. I just did the Mattapan Jazz and Community Festival. I emceed. I was the host, and someone out of the audience yelled, "Phenomenal woman, do it now." It is a piece that I created. I mean, I didn't create a poem, but with the music, it is now 20 years, you know, and it is the most requested piece that I do. So I usually do it with the song Fever.
I love Fever, too. I said I love you when you do that
Yeah,
Fever song.
that's how I became a vocalist,
Oh, really?
putting music together with poetry, and I got tired of trying to find a vocalist to sing, so I decided to become a vocalist.
Okay.
So,
Well, Valerie, you about to...
all right, Phenomenal Woman.
You about to wrap it up.
I'll wrap it up with Phenomenal Woman.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
And thank you so much for joining me today.
All right. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size, but when I try and tell them, they say I'm telling lies. It's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, and the curl in my lips. I am a woman, phenomenal woman, that's me. Now, I walk into a room just as cool as you please. And to a man, the fellows stand or they fall down on their knees. And then they swarm over me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's in the fire of my eyes and the flash of my teeth, and the swing of my waist and the joy in my feet. I am a woman, phenomenal women, that's me. Now, men themselves wonder what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try and show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back and the sun of my smile and the ride of my breast and the grace in my style. I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. And when you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels and the bend of my hair and the palm of my hand and the need for my care. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me.
Beautiful,
Thank
beautiful,
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valerie.
Thank
for
you.
all that you do, and especially for coming here to being my guest. And I
My
can't
pleasure.
wait to come to Framingham next week.
Come on out. Come
It's
on
gonna
out. It's
be
a
a ball.
good. I'm really proud of the work that we do together.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on out.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you.